Today we're going to read Cowboy Max in the Case of the Missing Cowboys by Doris. Ready? Cowboy Max lived on a ranch in Pennsylvania with Daddy Dan. Dan was a cowboy too, and people in the area called him Cowboy Daddy Dan. The ranch was called Bar MMTB Ranch, which stands for Maxwell T-Bird Ranch. They had a kitty too, who was known as Cowboy Kitty Dusty. Cowboy Max, his daddy Dan, and their kitty Dusty were all famous in the area for wearing the fanciest cowboy boots around. They also loved their cowboy hats. Max always wore a sheriff star on his hat. You see, Max was the sheriff in Bar MMTB Ranch. Sheriff Cowboy Max. But it was too long to say, so people called Max Cowboy Max. That was a very long name. Cowboy Max, Daddy Dan, and Dusty Kitty were in charge of keeping order around the ranch, and life went pretty smoothly on the Bar MMTB Ranch until one day, when Daddy Dan went to put on his cowboy boots in the morning. He went to his closet and realized that all the cowboy boots were missing, all except one. "Max, what happened to all my cowboy boots?" shouted Daddy Dan. Cowboy Max and Kitty Dusty ran to Dan's room. "Wow, they're all gone," said Cowboy Max. "Oh no," said Kitty Dusty. "I wonder what could have happened to them." "Max, Dusty, go check your closets and see if your cowboy boots are gone too," said Daddy Dan. Max and Dusty ran to their room and looked in their closets. "All of our boots are gone," said Max. "All of mine are gone too," said Dusty. "We obviously had an important case in our hands to solve," said Sheriff Max. Max knew that as a sheriff he needed to solve the case and solve it as quickly as possible. Sheriff Max asked Cowboy Daddy Dan and Cowboy Kitty Dusty for their help. They said they'd be glad to help Sheriff Max. "The first thing we need to do is look around the house," said Sheriff Max. They looked around the house all over, but found no trace of the cowboy boots. Then they went out to the pasture and they looked all around, but no cowboy boots were found there either. The last place they could think to check was the barn. They went into the barn and began looking around. They looked up and down the aisles in the stalls. All of a sudden they heard Cowboy Dusty shout, "Look! I found a boot right in this stall." Sure enough, there was a boot in that stall. It was one of Sheriff Max's cowboy boots. "Well, that's a start," said Sheriff Max. "Let's keep looking in the stalls." "Look, I found another one," said Cowboy Daddy Dan. It was one of his own cowboy boots. "Now we're getting somewhere," said Sheriff Max. "Keep looking." "I found another one too," said Sheriff Max. Sure enough, in another stall there was another cowboy boot. After looking some more, they found all of the missing cowboy boots. All of the missing cowboy boots were found in the barn stall. Who lives in these barn stalls? "Yes, the cows and the sheep live here," said Sheriff Max. "I think we need to go out to the pasture and have a talk with the cows and the sheep about this." They went out to the pasture where the ranch animals were grazing in the grass. Max came up to the lead cow, Betsy, and said, "Betsy, all of our fancy boots are missing. Do you happen to know where they are?" "Why, yes, Sheriff Max. We took them out of your closet yesterday when we went to town." "Why did you do that, Betsy?" "Well, all of us cows and sheep have such cold feet from standing out in the pasture all day, and when we go to the barn, we go to bed at night. Our feet are still so cold. We knew you had lots of boots in your closet and thought you wouldn't mind lending them to us to use at night and keep our feet warm." "Oh, so that's what happened to them," said Sheriff Max. "Well, Betsy, I feel so bad for all of you cows and sheep for having such cold feet at night, but I think I have a better idea for you than wearing the boots to keep warm. How about we go into town and buy some warm booties for all of you, said Sheriff Max. Oh, would you really do that, Sheriff Max? That would be so nice of you, said Betsy. So Max, Dan, and Dusty went into town that afternoon and bought enough booties for all the cows and sheep. Then they brought the booties home and passed them out to all the cows and sheep. The cows and the sheep were so happy. Case solved, said Sheriff Max. With your help, we were able to solve the case of the missing cowboy boots. Let's get back to the house and celebrate with a party, said Sheriff Max. So they went back to the house, got all their party favors out, and had a great party. The end. And there's Boots, Boots, and Boots. And there's Max in his cowboy boots. And there's Dusty. And there's me. See you? And there's Dusty. And it's me. You got party hats on. And you're blowing a horn. And I got a cowboy hat on. What do you think? What do you think? The end. We must say thank you again to Doris for writing this a few years ago. And as you can see, there's a little birdie who wants to eat the book now. Excuse me. Lips. Excuse me, lips. The end. Say bye. Bye. Bye-bye. I'll show people the pictures. And Doris drew the pictures too. For some of the newer viewers who've never seen this. And there's Dusty, and there's the farm. And there's cowboy boots. And there's Max with his cowboy sheriff hat and his cowboy boots. And there's the closet where all the boots are missing except for one. And there's the barn stall where the boots are found. And there's Max talking to Betsy the cow. And there's the little booties for the sheep and the cows. And the cows and the sheep with their booties on. And there's the cowboy boots. And me. And Dusty. And Max.